So Lawrence Romanosky, here we are at the Mullin Museum, Peter Mullin's collection of exquisite French, mostly pre-war cars. There's a couple, well, there's more than one star of the show, but this is a Talbot Lago teardrop, I think one of 12 or 14 made. And these are bodied by Fagoni and Falcini, 1937, and one of the one of the most gorgeous creations ever. He has a Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic, which is another car similar to this that's not here right now because it's on loan at the Peterson Museum. But these are just a few of the really sensational cars in this collection. And we've got Hispano-Suiza, Delage, Delahaye, and then some early cars from Renault, Peugeot, etc. But this is Hispano-Suiza, a cabriolet. Just fantastic. Huh? The details, car for kings. And then a string here of Delage, Delahaye, extraordinary paintwork. These are two-tone cars, you can't really see it, but a red and a deep purple. And Delahaye V12, a pair of those. And Fagoni and Falcini, Delahaye 165 Cabriolet. Look at this thing. Just absolutely exquisite. So the Mullin Museum's kind of out of the way. It's in Oxnard, which is about an hour north of LA. I've been trying to get here for 5 years or something like that. A lot of these cars tour, and I've seen some of them before at Pebble Beach, but here they are in a very, very lovely museum. And because it's so out of the way, there's hardly anybody here. And it's not, the hours are, it's only open the odd Saturday. But these are some of the most flamboyant and artistic automotive creations ever. They're, of course, Art Deco in style, and so the theme of the museum here is Art Deco. Here's another Delahaye. And these cars run oftentimes on Grand Prix chassis. So they have, not only do they look beautiful, but the chassis of, they're very powerful cars. For the day, 150 to 250 horsepower, and straight eights and supercharged, straight eights and straight sixes, supercharged and off in cases. So they were the very most expensive cars you could buy in the day. Look at that. And I think Voisen is my favorite. They were aircraft manufacturers who took to car racing, and they've got a lot of really unique and interesting features on them. They have the most sensational hood ornament of like any car, this sort of Thunderbird-like creation. And I suppose everybody's going on about this steampunk revival. Well, this car, I think, embodies that. And they have the craziest interiors. I mean, just like, look at that. It's just, and the most beautiful dashboards. These are convertibles, so the roof is a constant arc, and then the big metal sunroof slides and rails, and then goes completely back to the rear bumper, so the whole top of the car opens up. So this is an aero lift and an aero light, if I've got that right. Aero Sport and an Aero Leaf, so Aero Light and Aero Sport, and there's the Aero Light, and this is the coupe version, which is the Aero Sport. But just utterly fabulous machines. And this museum it's not really open to the public. It's mostly like some super wealthy guy's man cave. You know, the displays are absolutely extraordinary. So we have a history of Bugatti and the Bugatti family. You might remember a Bugatti that was lost in a lake for 75 years and then pulled up, and so here it is. It's beyond restoration, or at least if you restored it, there'd be nothing left of the original parts. But this was hidden in a lake in Switzerland for 75 years. Some of it was in the mud, so it was preserved. Some of it wasn't. But here's what your car will look like if you leave it in a lake. It's fabulous. And then there's an art room as well. I mean, there's a couple floors of cars. There's a bunch of race cars. But there's also a big kind of Art Deco and art room here. So these are the Lalique hood ornaments. So I think that there was like 15 made, and I think they've got all but one of them. But they're just sensational crystal hood ornaments. So you would have replaced the Rolls Royce or the whatever emblem on your radiator, and you would have put one of these on. And I think these are all 30, 40, 50, $100,000 each, these pieces of crystal. So, and there's some original art and stuff in here. But, I mean, if you like Art Deco anything, and you like French pre-war cars, this museum is extraordinary. I've heard about it for years, but it's a little bit out of the way, and I've never managed to get the opportunity. But we were with Porsche in LA for their Panamera training, and I was able to escape for a couple of days and shoot this. So, and Peter Mullin he probably has about 200 cars. He started off buying a bunch of cars from the Schlumpf brothers in the 50s. And those are the French brothers who were in the textile business, who ran afoul of they tried to collect every Bugatti ever made, and they had several hundred of them, and then they ran afoul of some tax regulations, and the French government seized their cars. And Peter, I think they got to keep 50 of them or something, and then Peter Mullin bought those. So here are some unrestored Bugattis as well. They look like before and after. So anyway, this is the nicest car museum in terms of fixtures and decor and bathrooms. I mean, the bathrooms in this place are nicer than just about any hotel I've ever been to. And it's extremely well done, and you can tell there's an extreme amount of money behind all of it, and it's very civilized, and there's hardly anybody here. And if you have any interest at all in French cars, just from the golden era of automotive styling and automotive design, then you need to come to the Mullin Museum. It's really quite extraordinary. Isotta Frazenchini, car of kings, tulip wood with brass rivets, and the sorry, I got it wrong. It's Hispano Suiza. Anyway, extraordinary car, tulip wood construction, and just lovely. Okay, Lawrence Romanosky from the Mullin Museum in Oxnard, California.